This weekend, in my opinion, you have the best football game of the season, the best rivalry between two teams, and of course, it's America's game. We got Army, we got Navy, we got Brian Newberry versus Jeff Monken, we got Cal Helms versus Brady Horvath. We got true college football back this weekend where NIL is not a part of it, where it's old school style of football. But what's even better about this is it's not just all about football. It's much more than that. You have cadets, you have midshipmen playing in this game that will be serving their country after they're done playing in this game. It's much more than just on the field. You have cadets and midshipmen that will be in the stands, students, that this is their everything. This is the most important game for these two teams. And in my opinion, that's a big reason why this game is so special. Is you have two sides that don't like each other. You have two sides that would be playing for the Commanders-in-Chief trophy this year, which Navy has currently. That trophy and the ability to see second is what truly matters in this game. And if you look at statistics, if you look at just the teams, how they performed this year, that's a big reason why Navy's favored in this game. Navy is favored by more than 5 points right now. And this is a Navy team that is extremely talented. Their only two losses came from losing to Notre Dame, which got kicked out of the playoff, and not playing very well against North Texas. This is a Navy team led by Brian Newberry as a head coach, but they also, in my opinion, have one of the most fun offenses in the entire country. And when people really think about Navy, they think of like slow, monotonous, gaining 3, 4, maybe yards at a time. But you have to give a ton of credit to offensive coordinator Drew Cronick. Sorry if I completely botched your name. Ever since he took over as the offensive coordinator, this offense is just really fun. Obviously, you have Blake Horvath as your starting quarterback, first Navy quarterback to go back-to-back 1,000 yards seasons. He's been great, 19-4 as the starter for both throwing and passing as well. But it's not just him. You obviously have to mention like Alex Teska. You also have to mention Eli Heidenreich. Those guys have been balling all year, but it's not just them as well. You also have to talk about Braxton Woodson. Like, he's not only a guy that comes in when Blake Horvath is hurt. He's a guy that they get the ball to a ton. You also have to talk about another quarterback that deserves a ton of credit as well. Brendan Chapman, not a very big guy, but a guy that is a real contributor to this offense. And it's not just this offense, because I think heading into the season, a lot of people can say that Navy offensively was going to be fine. I think there's really two kind of big question marks for this Navy team. One was obviously going to be its offensive line. They actually have a starter as a freshman, which typically doesn't happen at Navy or doesn't happen at the Service Academy. But this is an offensive line as the year has gone on. They've continued to get better. They're running the ball extremely effectively. Now, this is still a team that really can't get behind the sticks. But even if they do, they have playmakers that they can get the ball to or make it to a 4th and short and then go for it, obviously. But this offensive line has been vastly improved since the beginning of the season. This is also a Navy team that the other true question mark was the defense. The defense struggled pretty mightily early on. But truly, the way this team has switched things defensively has to be talked about, because this is a defense that lately they've been absolutely balling out. And it truly starts out with the guy in the middle who was just announced as a Sports Illustrated first team All-American, and Landon Robinson. This guy is an absolute baller. Like, he is such an issue up the middle. Like, he is kind of the guy that you truly need to have when going up against a team like Army. These are two offenses that you need your kind of nose tackle to be an absolute baller, a guy that truly causes a ton of issues. And if you watch this defense, this is a guy that, like, teams are double teaming and he's still getting in the backfield. Like, these kind of leaders that this Navy team had that are your star kind of guys are at positions that you truly need to have. You also have a couple other guys I think has really contributed, really kind of stepped up. I think one of those guys you have to truly mention is linebacker Luke Paris. Sorry if I completely mispronounced your name as well. He's had a few pretty big games for Navy. At least a couple games ago, he had 2 sacks in a game. He's been a key contributor, has 72 tackles this year. This is a Navy defense that has been much better. This is a Navy defense that's continuing to get better every single week. And even though that they fell short of going to the American Championship game, this is a team that is playing very, very well, but they're going up against an Army team that they're very familiar with. This is an Army team that ended up falling last year. If you really look at kind of last year to this year, it's kind of flipped a little bit. I know that Navy was really good last year, but Army was kind of the team to beat last year, and they ended up beating them last year. Now you have an Army team that is 6-5, currently led by Kyle Helms. He is a guy that is more of like that typical Army style quarterback. He doesn't throw the ball a ton, 504 yards on the year. He does run the ball quite a bit as well. So this is the type of quarterback you're truly kind of thinking about in this game. You also do have to give a couple of guys, especially Noah Shore, a ton of credit this year as well. He's been a very high key contributor for this Army offense. I believe he has not fumbled once, which is pretty incredible. He's a guy that Army's going to obviously rely on quite a bit in this game, but it's not just him because he can do it running the ball, but he can also catch the ball as well. And speaking of catching the ball, you have to mention Brady Anderson, leading wide receiver for Army. Only 12 receptions, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. But this is a team that's still going to be pretty old style. I think that's really the difference between this Army team offensively and this Navy team offensively is while Navy still does a lot of its old stuff, they add more modern wrinkles into it. And I think that's a little bit more of what Navy has done. Now, I do think Army has done a little bit of that. I just think Army's kind of the more like old school kind of style that we really understand what this game is going to be like. I truly think this is going to be a really fun game because, like I mentioned, these are 2 teams that I think you can completely throw out the record. This is a game that truly means, like I mentioned at the beginning, everything to these guys. Like, you're going to get the best of the best effort. I think this is going to be a really close game, and this is a Army team that, while record-wise hasn't looked great, they do have quite a few guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that you have to obviously mention. One of those guys is linebacker Endon Thomas, leading tackler on this team. I believe he has close to 100 total tackles this year. Linebacker is going to be a huge position for this Army team. That's one thing that's really going to be kind of the difference between Army and Navy. I think Navy has some really good linebackers. I mentioned specifically one of them, but when it comes to really the D tackle, nose tackle position, you look at what Landon Robinson has done compared to what Army has gotten. Now, you also have to mention Caleb Fortner as well. 47 total tackles this year, at least solo tackles. He does have 70 total tackles as well. But this is going to be a really fun matchup. And like I mentioned before, I think you really have to throw out all records going into this game because it doesn't matter which team is going to be the favorite in this one. This has been a series that has gone back and forth. This has been a series that, if you look at Navy, they're 1-2. The seniors like Alex Teska, Eli Heidenreich, Landon Robinson, Blake Horvat, they're 1-2 right now in this series. Their last one last year. If I had to guess, they do not want to have a losing record to this Army team. They want to at least go 2-2 against them. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee that happens, and they're not guaranteed definitely a winning record, but this is a game that you have a ton of seniors playing in, looking for opportunities, seniors that are going to be key contributors for this team, for both teams. And I think because of that, it's not going to be only a really overall physical game. I think it's going to be a game that's going to be remembered for a while. And I think just overall, if you look on paper, Navy should win this game. But this game isn't played on paper. It's played through heart. It's played to want to sing second. It's played through physicality. These are teams that are very familiar with each other. With that all being said, though, I got Navy in this one. I think Navy wins. I think it's just way too much for Army when it comes to Heidenreich, when it comes to Robinson, when it comes to Teska, when it comes to Horvath. I think they go 2-2 against Army. I think Navy's the better team, and I think Navy's going to come out and win this game at the end of the day. So, yeah, with that all being said, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff, and go Navy, beat Army.